Are you ready to improve your health without the unrealistic BS? You're tuning in to Healthy Not Hungry, the podcast that believes that health begins in your mind. I'm your host, clinical nutritionist, PT, and mental health enthusiast Rach, and I'm so excited to have you join me. Hello and welcome to another episode of Healthy Not Hungry. I'm your host Rach. Thank you so much for joining us today. So today it is a solo ep, and today I want to discuss the benefits of having a high protein breakfast. So if you've been listening to me for a little while, this is something I harp on about a fair bit, which is the importance of having protein in a day. So as a clinical nutritionist, obviously this is my bread and butter. This is something that I think is so important and so underrated. And I find more often than not, particularly for females, when we are struggling to gain muscle, struggling to lose weight, struggling with energy, concentration, food cravings, whatever it may be, a lot of the time it's because we're not actually having enough protein in our day. So for reference, at a minimum, and I mean at minimum, you want 1 gram of protein per kilogram body weight. Literature suggests anywhere from like 1.5 gram to 2.2 grams per kilogram is optimal. So, 1 gram is a starting point. So say, for example, if you weigh 70 kilograms, at a minimum, you should be having 70 grams of protein a day. Optimally, I'd prefer you to have 105 because that's 1.5 grams per kilogram. But you get the point. We need to increase it. But specifically, I want to talk about why protein intake is so important at breakfast time. Now, there's actually like a fair few studies on this. So it is cool that what we are discussing is always backed by science. But one particular study that I was only reading the other day highlights the fact that you can actually grow your muscles by up to 41% more based on your protein distribution throughout the day. So what this means is that when you choose to have it. So choosing to have and start your day with a high protein meal compared to not has that big difference when it comes to muscle growth. So basically this particular study had 2 groups. So they had one group which was having a high protein breakfast and a moderate protein lunch and dinner, compared to the other group which was like a lower protein breakfast but really high protein lunch and dinner. So throughout the day, both groups had the same amount of protein. But what they found was the group who had the protein breakfast had muscle growth by up to 41% more than the group without it, even though they ate the same. So what this tells us is starting your day with it and having protein as your first meal is actually really beneficial, particularly when we're talking about muscle growth, which plays a big role in our metabolism. So for someone who maybe is looking at growing muscles or increasing their metabolism or losing weight, this is super important because the more muscle mass we have, so the more muscle we have, the faster our metabolism is, which means the faster that we burn fat and calories. So our body works more optimally. When we have a more optimal metabolism, it helps with our energy production and expenditure as well. So it helps us feel better. It helps with our brain functionality. It helps with our digestion. It helps with a lot of different areas. So it's really cool to be able to optimize building this muscle. But that really wasn't my only highlight point here that I was going to get into when we are talking about why a high protein breakfast, sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, is important. Another thing that it does do is it keeps you fuller for longer. So when you have protein, it helps to slow digestion and helps to regulate your appetite hormone or your hunger hormone, which you may have heard me talk about before, called ghrelin. So you're less likely to feel like you need to snack as much mid-morning and throughout the day. It also helps to reduce cravings. So that's a big one that I've always liked. When you are having enough protein, basically it works in 2 ways. It increases your energy levels so that you feel better, you feel more energized, you feel like you have more to give. But because of that as well, it also helps to reduce those extra cravings coming in, and it helps to reduce blood sugar spikes as well. So when I say blood sugar spikes, I mean where you go up with all this blood sugar and then you crash. It helps to avoid doing that. As we've said, it already supports muscle maintenance and growth. And overall, it helps to help with your focus and productivity. So it helps, as I mentioned, you have steady energy levels and stable blood sugar. That works for our brain. So that means that we can have a better concentration, we have a better cognitive function and ability to be able to get through our day. So if you are someone who gets brain fog, who struggles to concentrate, who struggles to function when it comes to your brain, maybe increasing that protein, particularly at the start of your day, could be a total game changer for you. And then the last thing that I wanted to say is that it helps with regulating hunger signals throughout the day. So basically, when we satisfy our body and give it what it needs, it does help to avoid feeling hungry or starving or cravings, as we've already suggested. Yeah, basically it sets yourself up for a good day. So that's how I like to think of it. When you're looking at that first meal of the day, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day and how the day is going to be. Now, you might be like, Rach, I'm not someone who really likes a lot of breakfast, yet alone a high protein breakfast. This I understand. So this is where we need to think outside of the box a little bit. Maybe you like iced coffee. The Roku, I think that's what it's called, the Roku iced coffees that they've got at the moment, they're like 30 grams protein and you feel like you're drinking an iced coffee. In my case, I like the Carmen's protein bars. They've got these new ones, like the crisp ones that are 15 grams protein. And so I'll have my morning coffee and then an hour later, I'll have that to start my day. So it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be complicated. Don't get me wrong. If you like your bacon and eggs on toast and you have the time and availability to do it, go crazy on it. But yeah, it doesn't have to be a big deal or hard to get that protein in your first meal of the day. But hopefully after listening to this, it's given you a little bit of food for thought and made you consider, firstly, are you getting enough protein? Are you starting your day with it? Is this maybe contributing to how you're feeling or areas that you're struggling in? And if you were to increase your protein in your breakfast or your first meal of the day, would it make your day a little better? Would it make you a bit more energized? Would it make you function a little bit better? And these are all the little things that makes nutrition so amazing, is that we can make little changes that are easy and available for everyone. And they can make a big difference on our day and how we show up for ourselves and the people that we care about. So that being said, I'm going to leave you to it, but I hope you learned something. As usual, please like and subscribe. And if you want to leave a review, I would love that. Or if you know someone who you think would benefit from listening to this, please share the love, send us through. But yeah, any questions, always reach out. I'm happy to chat, happy to help you out through something. But yeah, have a fantastic week and I'll be in your ear again next week. Well, that's all we have time for today, but thank you so much for tuning in and joining us once again. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and leave a review on your favorite podcast streaming site or share with someone who you think could benefit from this episode. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media at Healthy Not Hungry or Healthy Not Hungry Podcast.